All right, so thanks for stopping in, everybody. I actually did this workshop earlier this morning with some students at Drexel, where I used to work. I was guest lecturing a sports psychology class the last week and a half, and I decided to finish it off with some stress reduction techniques. Probably the best way to go. Because I know even though some people in the chat said maybe not feeling super stressed or super overwhelmed, which is fantastic, we can utilize these same tools across the board. We can use them to be preventative, right? So we don't have to wait until we're extremely stressed, extremely overwhelmed to use the tools that we'll talk about today and try out. Um, but also you can use these tools when you're in the thick of it, right? When you're in the middle of the tornado, as I like to think about it. So really great to see that people are kind of, yeah, little all over the board here. I'm just taking a look again at where we are. How about we do this too? So I love that we used our words for it, but let's use a number, scale of 1 to 5. 1 being not stressed at all, 5 being extremely stressed. Where would you put yourself on that scale? Just like put your hands up. Let me see. Or put it in the chat. Cool. Okay. Yes. All right. So we exceeded the scale a little bit for some of us, which is perfectly okay. And the reason why I'm saying it's perfectly okay is because, you know what? If we are aware of the fact that we are extremely stressed or we are overwhelmed, then we can actually do something about it. Right? Um, but I'm going to backtrack. I don't necessarily know any of you. I don't know if any of you know me. And for those of you that are watching the recording, you may not have met me before. So let me just give you a quick breakdown of me. Is that cool? Do that? Okay. So my name's Madeline Barlow. I'm Dr. Madeline Barlow. It's still, I've had my PhD for several years now, but I'm still, you know what? Call me Madeline, please. We're casual here. Just like I came in my sweatshirt today. We're talking about stress. We're trying to reduce stress. I'm going to be comfortable, right? Just as I want all of you to be comfortable. But I worked at Drexel University for 5 years. I just recently left there to work more with the hidden opponent, which I love doing so much. But at Drexel, I was the mental performance coach for all 5 years. I worked with all of our athletes there, all across the board, all of our teams, utilizing tools such as confidence building, what we're going to talk about today, self-awareness, let's see, focus, concentration, imagery, lots of different things were going on. Mental side of sport is, in my opinion, maybe even more important than the physical side. I don't care what anybody else thinks. That's what we're going to say today, because you can only do so much physically, right? Your physical body can push you only so far, and then all you have left is your mind, right? So the purpose of these tools, though, is actually going to combine physical and mental, which is what's really awesome about some of these stress reducing tools. So in the chat, I'd love for people to, or you can actually unmute too. That's perfectly fine. Up to you. What are some things that you have done in your life to try, because sometimes it doesn't work, right? Try to reduce your stress. What have you done? What have you liked? What hasn't worked? Whatever you want to share. I'd love to hear about it. Exercise, yep. Running and yoga, love it. Journaling, great. Going to church, love it. Okay. What else? Anything? Yep. Go for a run, great. So lots of movement, really, really good. Spending time outside, awesome. Yes. Except it's really cold where I am right now. Oh, I didn't say I'm in Philadelphia. Where is everybody else? I keep skipping ahead. I'm so sorry. Where are people from? Throw that in there too. I want to see where all in the country we are. I'm in Philadelphia right now. It snowed today. It was cold. Ohio, UNH, cool. Love it. Okay, yes, so some cold places, more or less, right? All right. But yes, all those things, love to hear it. Going outside, deep breathing, moving your body, right? A spiritual practice of some sort. I forget what else was that. Was that about it? I think I got to everything. Journaling was another one. Great, really good stuff. So you have some tools in your toolbox. But the key is that we have to actually use them, right? It's the key for anything. So in a few minutes, we're just going to go right into it. We are going to try to use some of these tools today. But one other thing I want to really highlight that I said before, mental and physical. Stress can be mental and physical, and typically is. So I'm gonna get everybody talking so much today. How do you experience stress? How does it come up for you mentally and physically? Take a second, rate that in the chat as well. How do you know you're stressed? How might somebody else even know that you're stressed? Because sometimes people outside of us can definitely tell, right? Okay. Mentally become very foggy. Yes, absolutely. Like just clarity kind of goes out the window because we get so filled up, right, by the stuff, whatever that stuff is for you. Lots of emotions happening. Hard to get stuff done. Yeah, for sure. Really tired, can't sleep. Is that not the worst? Oh my God, when you just need to sleep so bad. Sleep would change everything, right? Headaches. Yep. So some physical things right there. Maybe you isolate a little bit, super tired, thoughts kind of going all over the place. Yep. Okay. Yeah, maybe a little like fidgety, right? But also again, you can't get anything done as effectively as you might normally. Okay. Yeah, so some pretty classic um signs of stress. Absolutely. So good. It sounds like you're aware of that, right? I've already talked about awareness. Awareness is key when it comes to just about anything, in my opinion, but especially when we want to make a change. Because I'm going to make an assumption that you don't really want to stay in a state of stress. Would I be right about that assumption? Probably be better. We'd feel better if we did not feel all those things that you just mentioned. Yeah, right. Okay. So the only way, though, that we can get out of one state of being is by being aware of it, by recognizing it, by tuning into it, which can often be really uncomfortable, right? Ignorance really is bliss. It really is. However, then we will continue to be affected by those things, even if we're not necessarily aware of it, right? So maybe some of you have experienced maybe lower levels of stress or something else, and you're just not really paying attention to it. But maybe you are getting headaches, or maybe you are really tired. And we just kind of say, oh, well, yeah, I'm not sleeping all that much, or I've been doing a lot, right? But it really could be this underlying stress that we're not dealing with, or something else that we're not aware of. So that's the point of today, of just in general, the work that I do is about helping people bring awareness to whatever it is that's going on and giving you the tools to navigate it. Yeah, cool. Okay. So I feel like someone might have said it specifically in here or in other words. A lot of times when we're feeling stressed, we feel really out of control. Would people agree with that? It's like it feels totally out of our control. We feel kind of just wrapped up in that storm, right? Like we're in the middle of a tornado, but within ourselves is often what feeling this high level of stress can be like. So the key here is recognizing step one, that we're feeling out of control or that we're paying attention to all these things that we can't actually control. So that's going to be the first thing we do. We're just going to take 30 seconds to a minute. Does everybody have a notebook, or even maybe you can just type on your computer too if you don't have a notebook? Okay. But I'd love for you to consider, what are some of the things in your life right now that you cannot control? Okay. What are the things you cannot control in your life? And maybe there are things that you're currently giving a lot of energy and attention to, right? But now that we're thinking about it, you're like, oh, yeah, that's not. That's not something I can actually control. Write those down for me. When you are done, actually head over to the chat. Just throw like at least one thing in there. What's one thing on your uncontrollables list? Other people's attitudes, how many exams, papers, presentations you have to do. Yep. The actual due date of all of those assignments. Yep, exactly. Good stuff. Okay. So it sounds like all of those things, like the common denominator of those things, have to do with things or people outside of you, right? Right? Because yes, you can't control other people, what they think, feel, how they behave, anything like that. You can't control your professors and what they assign to you, when they assign it for, all of those types of things, right? They can't, um, they can't, or you can't control, sorry, you can't control just even like the timing of your final, right? Like all the like the little details, even all the way back. I know this isn't necessarily relevant right now, but then again, you can't control the weather, even, right? That's what I talk about with athletes all the time, especially if you play an outdoor sport. Can't control the weather. You'll never be able to. But so often we get really, really caught up on, or an athlete that competes outside might get really caught up on, it's so windy, or it's so cold, or it's raining. And we tend to get put too much energy into these things that we cannot control. Right. Or same thing with your with other people's opinions. That's a big one. A lot of people get really caught up in other people's opinions, and we can't control that. Their opinions are actually none of our business. That's one of my favorite sayings. Other people's opinions are really none of our business, because there's no way that we can control that necessarily. Right. So, okay, cool. So we have things that are not controllable. So what are we going to do now? We're, of course, going to focus on what you can control, right? So take a few minutes. This list, I would love to be as long as possible. What are all the things in your life right now that you can control? Okay, go ahead. Same thing, just take your time, but give me a thumbs up when you feel like you have a pretty complete list. And also throw a couple things in the chat when you're done. Awesome. How you react to things. That's great. What else? What else is coming up for people? Your attitude, work ethic, when you complete work, how long you spend on it. Yep, absolutely. Right. All you just listed all the steps of the process, right? All pieces of your plan, of your process is within your control. Absolutely. What else? How you use your time, how much sleep you get, how you recover. Yes, absolutely. All these things add up too, right? I hesitate to even call them like the little things, because in reality, they're not. They're the big things. But then again, we often take something like sleep for granted, or stretching, right? And stretching and icing and all of the things for granted. Um, but they add up and they are within your control. Okay. Anything else that came up for people? What else can you control? Yeah. Your priorities, how you choose to prioritize things in your day to day, the way you speak to other people. Love that. Really great. Good stuff. So to wrap up this one, because we're going to go through three tools. The other two take less time than this one for sure. But this first tool or strategy is another way to think about it. Um, the key with it is awareness, first and foremost, right? So noticing that you're experiencing a lot of stress, noticing that you're paying so much attention to things that are outside of your control, or you're giving those things more of your energy. And then step three, being able to refocus, or choosing actually is the better word, choosing to refocus on the things on this controllables list. Okay. Because the common denominator of the uncontrollables was other people. The common denominator of the controllables is you, right? Okay. So coming back to you, paying attention to yourself in these moments and what you are able to do, right? So what actions you can take, what actions you can take right then in the moment, even, is a way that we can slowly but surely lessen our stress. It makes us feel, I mean, again, a lack for a better term, it makes us feel in control of our life, right? By really tuning into, well, what can I do for myself right now? Okay, cool. How did we feel about that one? I mean, thumbs up, middle, down. I don't really care. You tell me how you actually feel about it. Cool. Okay, so keep this list. That's the final thing I'll say about this one. Keep this list because you want to be really thinking about it pretty often, especially over the next maybe week or so as you're finishing up school. Come back to your controllables, just like you might come back to a to-do list type of thing, right? These are the things that you have control over that can potentially really lighten up the load when we're feeling overwhelmed. Okay, so that's tool number one. Awesome. Okay, next one. Let me know in the chat if you have ever tried a breathing exercise of any kind. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. All right, cool. So yes, we're gonna do one together. Yay. Okay. Uh, because the thing with these is that, sometimes people will learn a breathing exercise, try it once or twice, and never do it again. And you know what? It is what it is. That's just what happens sometimes, right? But when we are actively choosing to want to decrease our stress, this is a really good go-to. It doesn't take very long, but it can have some really great effects in a short amount of time. Okay. So the breathing exercise I would love to try with you all is called 4-7-8 breathing. Has anybody heard of that or tried it? You can just like nod your head, yes or no. Okay. So a couple people, yes, a couple people, no. All right. So the reason why I want to do this is because when we breathe out longer than we breathe in, we're signaling to our body that we're safe. Okay. Because imagine if you were being chased by a bear or a lion or something that you do not want to be chased by. Because, yes, we have to give these examples because this goes way back to evolutionary psychology. So you're being chased by something, your life is in danger. And granted, you could be being chased by a human too, but that just seems a little too morbid to use as an example. So we'll go with a lion, right? Um, if you were to be breathing out pretty extensively, you're not going to be able to run, right? And vice versa. If you are breathing really heavily, your body knows that it needs to produce that energy to get to safety. So, in this breathing exercise where we breathe out longer than we breathe in, we're signaling to the brain, to the body, that we are not being chased by anything, despite maybe feeling some stress in our life. We are actually safe in this moment, and our body, or we're allowing our body to calm down, to come back to baseline. Okay. So that is why I want to try this one with you. Does everybody feel okay with that? Trying out a breathing exercise? Okay. Just going to do it for a few minutes, maybe like 3 to 4 minutes. So let's settle in for it. All right. I'm just going to lead you through it. Often I give people YouTube videos. I haven't been finding one that I really like, so maybe I should just make my own at this point. But set yourself up in a way where your back is more or less straight. Doesn't have to be super rigid, right? But I don't necessarily recommend laying down. So you want to be able to access your lungs pretty well. All right. You're also all welcome if you feel more comfortable. You can turn your cameras off for this. It's perfectly fine. I don't mind at all. I want you to feel the most comfortable. That's really what matters for this one. Okay. I tend to close my eyes when I do a breathing exercise, but if that doesn't feel comfortable to you, just kind of stare off towards, the floor or the wall in front of you. Hands can go on your knees. They can go on your heart, chest, lung area if you like, whatever feels better. Okay. And know that you can always change it up. You close your eyes, you can open them, you can move your hands. You don't need to feel stuck in a position when we do something like this. Okay. All right. So, everybody feel good? We feel ready? Yeah. All right. Cool. I am going to close my eyes despite not necessarily doing the breathing exercise, but I'm still going to close them. I always like to start just by taking maybe 30 or so seconds to tune in just to your regular breath. See if you can just keep breathing at a regular pace in and out, slowly tuning in to your body right where it is right now. Breathing naturally. If you feel any tension, I'm feeling some in my neck, for example, so I might choose to roll it out. Adjust yourself in any way that feels most comfortable. And for this breathing exercise, you will breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 7, and breathe out for 8. I'll do the first few rounds with you by counting, and then the last few rounds you can do on your own. Let's get started. We breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go ahead and do a round on your own time at your own pace. If ever it feels like too much, just come back to your regular breath. Breathing in for 4, holding for 7, and breathing out for 8. I'll let you go for about a minute at your own pace. Do about 2 more rounds. When you finish, come back to your natural breath. And when you're back to your natural breath, you can start bringing some movement into your body a little bit. If anywhere feels the need to move or be stretched, you can do that now. Just coming back to your body in the present moment, opening your eyes whenever you feel ready. Okay. I'm actually going to have us go right into the last tool because I love coupling these together. Okay, so instead of asking you to go to the chat and letting me know how you feel, you're going to go to your notebook and do what's called a brain dump. I wish there was a cuter term for it, but that's what we're going to go with. Okay. So for the next 3 minutes, I just want you to write whatever's on your mind. Even if there's nothing on your mind, maybe you'll end up writing the word nothing, 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 nothing. That's okay. I just want you to write, um, and let whatever is meant to come out on the page. Okay, there's no structure to this. Just write for 3 minutes. We will get started now. Go for it. Do your best to just be present with it. Do your best not to stop. Your hand might hurt. 3 minutes of writing. One more minute to go. Keep writing anything at all, even if it's gibberish at certain points and it makes no sense, or if it only makes sense to you. Whatever is meant to come out, let it come out. And wherever you are, you can start to wrap up or just do a hard stop, whatever feels better to you. Okay. The final piece of this tool right here, I want, especially if you, or mainly if you wrote it in a notebook, but you can technically do this if you did it on your computer. I want you to crumple it up, rip it up, do whatever, and go throw it in the trash can right now. Hopefully you have a trash can in your room. If you don't, metaphorically throw it in the trash can and then do it when you are done. Okay. because this version of journaling is not meant to be reread. It's not meant to be reflected on. It is meant to just get the stuff out that's been piling up, or that's just, again, right there at the surface. It's ready to be released, not serving you at any point moving forward. You just get it out and you literally dump it in the trash can. Beautiful. Okay. So now I would love just to finish for people to go to the chat. How are we feeling? What did you think about some of these tools? Can you see yourself using any of these tools to either be preventative or to help when you're in the midst of it all? Just give me a couple words, sentences. How are you feeling? A good brain dump always helps me to find some clarity. Yes, it does, right? Yes, it does. Love it. Thank you for sharing. What else? How else are we feeling? There we go. Loved the brain dump. Yes. Nice. Cool. I do love to hear when people have not tried something before, right? And you can get a really, really great um, benefit from it, even the first time, right? Sometimes we don't. Sometimes things take a little bit to try out. You know, that can be said for a breathing exercise or meditation or things like that. It can take a little bit to really feel certain benefits or to even acquire a like for it. Sometimes we don't always love the things, but we can develop a like for it anyways. But I do love to hear that you had a really good experience from that. Beautiful, releasing, feel freer and less tense. Yes, that's so good. Okay. Feel more confident knowing you have more tools in your toolbox. Absolutely. Right? That is a big part of it. Oftentimes when we're feeling stressed, we can get so overwhelmed because in the back of our mind, we don't really feel confident in getting through it, right? But you do have tools. And I think the final tool that we can't really get here, besides the way in which we are connecting, is find the right people to support you through it all, right? Find the right people to be connected with during this time. So use these tools, be consistent with it, do what you need to do to take care of yourself, right? So hopefully on that controllables list, I think some people did write things that are specific to like caring for yourself, sleeping, eating well, right? But what else can you do for yourself that is just for no other reason than it brings you a little bit of joy, right? It makes you feel just even 5% better than you did before you were doing that thing. I love to take baths. Baths are like my favorite. Like just like a time for me to be, right? I think that's really important. A lot of people say cleaning their room. I'm not going to lie, I don't love cleaning. However, I do feel better after I clean, right? Um, awesome. So feeling more confident and feeling or liking the idea about refocusing on controllables. Yes, because your stress tends to come from the things you can't control. It shouldn't because we can't control it, right? And that is the key of that activity is recognizing that so much of our stress comes from things that we can't do anything about. So let's refocus on what we can do something about. Awesome. Oh yeah, taking a good shower. One of my students today said for her, yeah, it was like that taking that everything shower. That was just like takes a long time. You like are really mindful throughout that process and just like being with yourself during that time and releasing whatever it is, letting the water wash it all away. Good stuff. Okay. Beautiful. And the timing is perfect. I hope we're feeling a little bit better than when we came in. My hope is that you'll utilize some of these tools now and in the future. So if anyone has any questions or if anything comes up for you, feel free. Let me just really quickly, I'll throw my email. This is my personal or like my business email rather than my THO email. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to email me. Let me make sure I'm typing it right. Okay. Yeah. feel free to reach out, ask any questions. Again, if anything specific came up, or if you would like, me to send along a certain breathing exercise or anything like that, let me know. I'd be happy to hear from you. Awesome. Thank you all so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday night and into your weekend.